Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2015 Brevard County Sheriff's Office Award Ceremony. It is my great honor to introduce to you this evening your sheriff, Sheriff Wayne Ivey.
Good evening, everyone. For the past 2 years, I've had the honor and the privilege of serving as the Brevard County Sheriff. It is truly an honor to sit in this role, to work with so many incredible people from our agency. Until you get to sit here, you just never really understand what it's all about, to be surrounded by so many incredible people, to witness firsthand the many incredible achievements by the remarkable men and women of this agency. This past year, our agency has achieved many amazing things. They are the direct result, without question, of our members. They are the direct result, without question, of the commitment and effort by our team, by our command team, and by our citizens who so strongly support us. Unfortunately, this past year, we also lost some incredible members. Members of our agency who have left a history behind. They will forever be missed. The impact on our agency and on us will always be a part of us, and their families will always be a part of us as well. Tonight, we will be recognizing a number of the amazing accomplishments by members of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office as we look back over the past year. Throughout the night, I think you will hear a resounding theme, a theme that I'm extremely proud of because it represents absolutely everything your Sheriff's Office stands for. Team, teamwork, and mission. Together, we stand with our community, one mission, to make Brevard County a better and safer place for all. I would like to start this evening's event by thanking several people for making tonight possible. First, our awards committee, who worked so hard to make tonight's event special for our members, each and every one of them. Our command team, for all of their guidance and leadership within the agency. The many family members that are here tonight to show support for their loved ones, and for allowing them to be a part of our Brevard County Sheriff's Office family. My daughter Jana, for sharing her amazing voice with us, a talent I can assure you she didn't get from me. And my beautiful wife, Susan Ann, who is so gracious in putting up with me. That sounds bad, I should say. She's also just awesome in understanding how much I love this job and how much I enjoy it. Finally, I would like to thank the incredible members of our agency who are generous, committed, dedicated, professional, and in my opinion, second to none. I would like to recognize a number of our local dignitaries for joining us on this very special occasion and for all of their continued support of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. To my right and your left, my favorite mayor, Mayor Carol McCormick. She is my favorite mayor, but I have to say that by contract, so I don't want to upset the other mayors that are here with us tonight. We have Mayor Dale Yantz of Grant. Mayor, thank you for being with us. Mayor Dave Netterstrom from Cocoa Beach. We also have with us tonight Chief Joe Lasada from the Rockledge Police Department. Chief Mike Schoolmeyer from Brevard County Fire Rescue. Retired Chief Frank Ross. A special recognition tonight to one of our commanders who, after over 30 years of law enforcement, will be retiring this June from our agency. He has been an incredible leader, an incredible mentor, an incredible figure at our agency. It is my honor tonight to recognize Commander Paul Chalco for everything he has done. Stand up, Paul. I hope everyone enjoys tonight's event and truly understands the importance of recognizing our employees for the incredible work they do. I can't thank you enough for everything you do for the Brevard County Sheriff's Office to make it one of the best agencies in the country.
Chaplain Dr. Larry Linkus will now lead us in prayer.
Father God, we give you glory tonight in this massive celebration of our Brevard County Sheriff's Office and all of the awards and the honors that will be handed out tonight to men and women, Lord, that are so deserving. We do thank you for the nearly 1,400 members of Brevard County Sheriff's Office who work so diligently day and night, standing the wall for our safety. Times when we're so unaware of them, when we're sleeping, when we feel so safe in our homes. Lord, there's a force in this county that watches over us, watches our highways, watches over our communities. And we want to say, Lord, to you and to them, that we are so graciously thankful. Thank you for Sheriff Wayne Ivey, for Susan. Thank you for the anointing that you place upon him, for the joy that you put in his heart, and the passion to lead this great force in Brevard County. May you be glorified tonight as we honor these very special men and women on our force tonight. And we thank you and praise you, our great Redeemer and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed ere the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
How about the pipe and drum corps and the honor guard and Jan Ivey? How about that? Always impressive. Always impressive. All right, to assist in tonight's presentation, we have prepared a program that includes detailed narratives of the outstanding actions of tonight's recipients. And the first thing we'd like to do is our longevity awards. Our first presentations tonight recognizes those who have made the Brevard County Sheriff's Office a career. Our first group has provided 20 years of service to our community. Timothy Anlicker, Leonard Alexander, Sarah Arowine, Kimberly Benson, Michael Charest, Robert Gammon, Charles Gray, Christopher Kellerup, David Madsen, James McClellan, Douglas McCarty, Mark McDilda, Tawana Pack, Lewis Pierce, Teresa Revel, Christopher Stahl, Mary Watkins, and Leslie Woodruff Hughley. 20 years of service. How about a round of applause? "25 years of service. Jeffrey Barton, Scott Behringer, Brenda Branham, Pam Hibbs, Dennis Casey, Luann Creasy, Ray Dills, Stephen Feaster, Roy Foster, Stephen Jermo, Krista Hathaway Stout, Tracy Jeffries, Tamara Mulligan, Terry Myers, Donna Pope, Noel Remillard Jr., Allie Roberts, Glenda Shortridge, Gary Wood, Michael Wallace. That's it. Oh, one more behind you. James Woolsey. Ladies and gentlemen, our 25-year service recipients. Congratulations. Recognizing 30 years of service, Tola Baum, Russell Cockrell, Charlie Mack, and Pamela Rios. Yes, security. Congratulations, Pam and Skip. And then the last is 35 years of service. Barbara Carringer, John Coppola, and Michael Homer. It takes great personal commitment and sacrifice to remain in this challenging profession for any length of period of time, to dedicate 20, 25, 30, even 35 years of service to the Sheriff's Office is truly amazing. Only a fraction ever reach that significant milestone. Together, this group serves as the foundation of wisdom and experience for the entire agency. We thank this extraordinary group of individuals for dedicating their lives to the service of others. One more round of applause for all our winners. Would Chief Frank Ross please make his way to the stage? In 2004, Sergeant Lucy Ross was taken from us as she was responding to a crime scene. Lucy was very special to all of us. One of the ways we celebrate her life is through the recognition of a very special person in the Sheriff's Office who demonstrates the same qualities as Lucy, qualities such as dedication to the community and the love of children. Beginning in 2005, the Brevard County Sheriff's Office established a very special annual award known as the Sergeant Lucy Ross Award.
This year's recipient has been with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office since 2006. Prior to becoming a deputy sheriff, he proudly served in the United States Marine Corps, serving several tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, where he saw combat firsthand. As a member of our Special Victims Unit, he began to observe that child victims commonly displayed the same signs of trauma as combat veterans, especially as it related to communication. He further observed that when a child is a victim, they are placed into a room with a complete stranger and expected to disclose horrifying acts of violence and abuse that many times has been ongoing for years. In response, this year's recipient then created a concept to introduce a therapy dog during the interview process to reduce stress and fear. In 2013, the Qualter Project was launched, named in honor of our dear friend, Lieutenant Mike Qualter, who spent his career with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office as an advocate for child victims. As a direct result of this unique program, we have seen the disclosure rate of child victims increase from 36% to an astounding 82%. As of January 2014, the National Children's Advocacy Center has completed their own protocols for the use of therapy dogs within the forensic interview process and now has 8 active pilot programs across the country. It is with great pleasure that I introduce the 2014 Lucy Ross Award recipient, Agent Jesse Holt, who is accompanied by his partners. All right, I have a little bit more. I have to say this because I say it every time. This is the ugliest dog we have in our K-9 Corps. Without question. His vest doesn't fit him anymore because he walks around Gus Hip and everybody feeds him, kind of like me, all right, there's no doubt. Jesse and Primus have done an amazing job, and this was his idea, this was his innovation, this is his dog. He brought this dog from the house and told us that he wanted to do this program. It is an absolutely amazing program that has changed the way that children will be interviewed for the coming of time. It is truly a legacy that Jesse leaves behind and gives to other agencies to now take part of. We are expanding this program. Jesse's done such a great job with it. We are now incorporating part of our Paws and Stripes college into actually starting to train therapy dogs, and the Palm Bay Police Department has already put their name on the list to get their very first therapy dog. All of that is a result of Jesse and his great innovation, so an incredible job, my friend.
Each year, the Sheriff's Office recognizes a citizen who has rendered extraordinary assistance to law enforcement. This year's recipient is a lifelong resident whose philanthropy and community involvement has often gone unrecognized.
This year's Citizen of the Year is an individual that not only strongly supports our agency, but has demonstrated on numerous occasions his compassion for our community. Regardless of the need, this individual has always been there to answer the call for help. From offering to raise funds to renovate Camp Chance, to hosting and organizing events, to donating and raising funds for worthy causes, such as the Pet Posse and the Brevard County Public Safety Charity. He is always there. This year's recipient most recently took his commitment to a new level by committing to pay for the food to feed the animals in our Brevard County Sheriff's Office animal care centers. Your Citizen of the Year stated, it was the least that he could do to help animals who truly deserve a second chance at having a loving family and home. I always say that it takes a community to protect a community, and this citizen is a true testament of what happens when community leaders take an active role in helping make our community the best in the country. It is my great honor tonight to introduce you to this year's Citizen of the Year, our dear friend, A.J. Hires. Now, a lot of you probably recognize A.J. from TV, so I think it would be only appropriate if I have him do his very iconic thing. A.J.?
Thank you.
Our next award is the Partnership Award, which is given to a recipient who has consistently demonstrated dedication to strengthening the relationship between the Brevard County Sheriff's Office and our community through loyalty, honor, professionalism, and involvement.
This year's Sheriff's Partnership Award is presented to an individual that truly loves the profession of law enforcement In fact, on most days, he probably wishes he could afford to take a pay cut and do the job full time. He is someone that, without question, understands the importance and value of great partnerships and relationships. He is constantly engaged in supporting our agency as a citizen, business leader, and volunteer. Regardless if he volunteers to financially support an initiative, take an active role in a program, or serve as a board member for a not-for-profit, the words partnership and success are synonymous with his commitment to helping. I can't tell you how many times he has called to partner with us on an important community initiative, but I can tell you with absolute conviction how many times he has said he couldn't help, and that would be never. He is a man that not only commits to partnering, but goes out and recruits others to join in the cause as well. Regardless if it is for St. Baldrick's, the Brevard County Public Safety Charity, the Reserves and Auxiliary Program, the Jailbreak Adventure Race, or supporting worthy causes, he is standing tall in support. He has even gone as far as supporting the Women's Center Dude Looks Like a Lady fundraiser by dressing up like a woman. That's right, he dressed up like a woman, and you'll see just how horrible that was in just a minute. He does everything he can to help raise donations and awareness for domestic violence victims. He personifies the concept of working together as a partner to protect our community and to help those in their time of need. In fact, just today, I received a Facebook message from the mother of a child who competes in the Special Olympics about this person's presence and impact on her child at an event that was held last night at the Pizza Gallery to raise money for the Special Olympics. Tonight, it is my honor and privilege to introduce Robert Rose as the 2014 recipient of the Sheriff's Partnership Award.
Thank you, Robert. Congratulations to you. Next, we'll do our life-saving awards. This award recognizes those employees who act to prevent loss of life, either by exercising appropriate first aid, procedures, or direct intervention. It is awarded to an employee for competent and expedient action that is directly accountable for sustaining or saving of a human life. Deputies Jonathan Amick, Miguel Melendez, and Thomas Walter, for their incredible teamwork in using an AED and performing CPR at an accident scene on I-95, which saved a woman's life. Corrections Deputy Patrick Arquette. Deputy Arquette and his canine Earl located a missing and endangered man who was in the act of taking his own life. Their teamwork and training gave this man another chance at life.
Patrick was named the Florida Sheriff's Association's Correction Deputy of the Year for the entire state of Florida for his heroic action. So please give him a round of applause.
Deputy James Black. Deputy Black performed life-saving CPR until exhaustion on an unresponsive man who had overdosed. Congratulations. Deputy Sam Bruno. Deputy Bruno breathed life back into the victim who would not have survived his critical medical event without life-saving CPR. Congratulations, Sam. Agent Rick Clements. Agent Clements' training and trauma rescue efforts saved the life of a traffic accident victim who would have surely bled to death. Congratulations, Rick. Corrections Deputy Shauna Dankins. Noticing an inmate who appeared to be choking, Corrections Deputy Dankins performed the Heimlich maneuver, successfully removing the obstruction and saving the inmate's life. Corporal Garrett DeWin, Deputies Brittany Hewitt and Jamie McGowan. The quick actions and teamwork of these deputies saved the life of a 94-year-old man who was found unresponsive due to suffering a massive stroke. Congratulations. Don't go anywhere, Corporal DeWin. You stay right there. Corporal Garrett DeWin, Deputy John Hudgens, and Sheriff Wayne Ivey. Upon responding to an emergency medical call, Corporal DeWin utilized his AED while Sheriff Ivey and Deputy Hudgens performed CPR. The team revived an unresponsive victim who would have died at the scene without their efforts and actions. Congratulations. Sergeant Jim Hammond and Deputy Justin Hope. Responding to an unresponsive infant, Sergeant Hammond and Deputy Hope initiated and continued CPR while carrying the infant to an arriving ambulance. Deputies John Hannigan and Chad Massolini. The combination of an AED and CPR performed by these deputies saved the life of a victim who was found unresponsive. Deputy Tyler Harrell. Deputy Harrell saved the life of a victim who had cut his arm so severely he was unconscious from the loss of blood. Deputy Harrell was able to stop the bleeding with a tourniquet and bandage and provide comfort to prevent shock. Deputy Paul Hebb. Deputy Hebb found the victim unresponsive due to an attempt to end his life. Unable to loosen the rope with his hands, he carefully cut through the rope noose and provided immediate care, saving the victim's life. Unfortunately, Deputy Hebb could not be with us. Deputies Lynn Ortiz and Mark Spencer. Responding to an unresponsive male who had suffered a severe heart attack, through teamwork, these two deputies performed life-saving CPR. Deputy Joshua Strait. Deputy Strait located an unresponsive victim and immediately began life-saving CPR efforts until advanced life support arrived. Great job. Congratulations to all the life-saving recipients. As you can see, there have been many incredible acts of heroism performed by the members of our agency this past year to save lives in critical situations, and we salute each of you. Each year we identify a unit or group who excelled in their efforts to support the mission of our agency. This year we would like to recognize a number of units who worked seamlessly as a team to accomplish this incredible undertaking. Many of their names you'll see on the teleprompter and on the screens above you. When the Canaveral Port Authority commissioners voted to contract with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, our personnel began an unprecedented challenge of preparing with just 5 months before we'd be responsible for providing law enforcement and a seaport security service for one of the largest ports in the world. As a direct result of this hard work and dedication, our team, the safety and security of its visitors, tenants, and citizens will be protected by the leadership, resources, and abilities of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. If that challenge weren't enough, staff members were additionally preparing for another change to take place on that same date. Our Board of County Commissioners unanimously approved the proposal for the Brevard County Sheriff's Office to assume responsibility for Brevard County Animal Services, which is responsible for the annual care of over 14,000 animals, as well as enforcing the county's animal codes. Beginning on October 1st, 2014, the Sheriff's Office assumed all law enforcement and seaport security services at Port Canaveral, as well as animal services for Brevard County. Members of our agency from virtually every discipline displayed not only exceptional teamwork and commitment, but were incredibly successful at forming the community partnerships which are essential for success. For two major entities such as Port Security and Animal Services to be incorporated into the operations of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, much needed to be accomplished in a very short period of time. Entire property inventories and vehicle fleets needed to be reconciled and prepared. State and federal guidelines regarding seaport and maritime security needed to be understood and trained. Animal shelters needed to be renovated and technology upgraded. Budgets had to be carefully planned. Policies and procedures needed to be written. Schedules needed to be developed. A complete review and rewriting of job assignments and descriptions needed to be accomplished. And over 100 new employees needed to be recruited, evaluated, hired, and trained. All of these tasks were only a portion of the vast scope of work the dedicated members of our agency successfully completed in only a few short months. This was a massive undertaking, but unlike a private corporation, there was no special acquisition team to come in and complete the work. Our agency personnel, who worked so diligently to make this process successful, did so in addition to all of their normal daily work responsibilities and assignments. Our team members worked around the clock to make certain that these important mergers were not only successful, but became a model program for other agencies throughout the state and the country to follow. Thank you to everyone involved in making this transition so successful. Your continual rise to each and every challenge to make the Brevard County Sheriff's Office a wonderful community to live in and raise our families.
Thank you, Greg. On behalf of Chief Doug Waller, Chief Mike Lewis, we can't thank you enough for all your incredible efforts to make this insurmountable challenge a reality and a complete success. If you were part of the teams that we just talked about, and there were so many, HR, logistics, and career development, it just goes on and on and on and on. please stand and be applauded for your efforts tonight.
The Meritorious Award signifies that the recipient displayed unusual thoroughness, determination, and/or initiative while carrying out their duties. This award recognizes service rendered in the line of duty where the employee, because of their diligence and perseverance, performs a difficult task in which a serious crime is prevented, significant property is protected, human life is protected, or causes the successful closure of a significant criminal case. Agents Tim Anliker and Laura Leister. The agents conducted an investigation into a money laundering scheme that led to the arrest of 2 individuals that had defrauded over $18 million from more than 181 victims. The agents' efforts brought closure to many victims, some of who entrusted their life savings to these criminals. Great job. Corrections Deputy Patrick Arquette. Deputy Arquette and his canine partner have distinguished themselves for their tracking abilities on multiple occasions this past year. In January, they helped locate a missing man on Kennedy Space Center property, and in March, they located a child that had been missing for hours. Great job to Deputy Arquette and his canine Earl. Correction Deputies Jason Brim, Michael Holt, and Michael Wyman. Alerted to a potential problem in a cell block, these deputies were able to force the barricaded door open after locating the inmate intent on harming himself. They were able to disarm the inmate and provide immediate first aid, preventing any further injury. Great job, guys. All right, is Jason Brim smiling? Because he never smiles. There you go. He's laughing? All right. Great job, guys. Deputies David Bowes and Brian Stahl. These deputies conducted an investigation while on patrol that led to the arrest of 3 suspects for the possession of cocaine and trafficking in ecstasy. Great job, guys. Corrections Deputy Charlene Clausen, Corporal Sean Fontaine, Corrections Deputy Bridgetta Lyons, Corporal Dahlia Ned Mills, Corrections Deputy Carrie Newton, and Corrections Deputy Kathleen Staff. These deputies initiated an investigation that uncovered illegal prescription medication that had been smuggled into the jail facility. Fantastic job, guys. Lieutenant Robert Cullen, Deputies David Downey, Donald Eggert, Corporal Connie Hickman, Deputy David Medley, Commander Greg Purdon, Corporal David Shearer, Al Wells, and Deputy Terry Worthy. These deputies identified a gunman who had arrived at the courthouse with a threat to cause harm. Deputies secured the immediate area, evacuated all civilian visitors and court personnel, and locked the facility down while containing the gunman inside until the arrival of SWAT. Fantastic job, guys. Deputy James Darville, Agent Laura Lytle, and Corporal Dominic Prisco. These deputies located a suicidal man who had climbed into a tall tree with a rope. These deputies used their communication skills to convince the man to remove the rope from his neck and climb down from the tree, enabling him to receive the treatment he needed for his emotional distress. Fantastic job. COP Joe Downs. Joe has embraced the Project Lifesaver program, dedicating over 1,000 volunteer hours to this important program. His efforts have increasingly increased the enrollment by 143%. COP Downs has raised nearly $19,000 over the past year and has provided numerous families with this important resource for their loved ones at little to no cost. Great job, Joe. Thank you. Agent Kristen Fettis. Agent Fettis worked tirelessly over multiple search warrant arrests during an investigation into illegal gambling. These cases culminated with 5 arrests along with the seizure of over $18,000. Great job, Agent Fettis. Corrections Deputy Deborah Hathcote. Deputy Hathcote observed an inmate who had left the confines of his cell, concealing himself in furniture in an attempt to escape. A potential dangerous situation was averted due to her actions. Congratulations, Deputy Hathcote. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, Deputy Hathcote, if you don't mind backing up just a second. I know everybody is asking the same question. He hid himself in furniture. What piece of furniture did he hide himself in? A couch. You have couches at the jail? That's amazing. Great job. Thank you very much. That's true. Where would the command staff sleep if they didn't have couches at the jail? Deputies Michael Hoffman and Gerald Ryan. While responding to a vehicle burglary, these deputies located 2 suspects, recovering the victim's stolen property, and with the help of agents, gained admissions to over 20 burglary investigations. Great job, Mike and Jerry. Agent Todd Holland. You see Todd's mom is with us tonight. Agent Holland led an 18-month multi-agency investigation into a statewide theft ring that identified 40 suspects who had stolen products valued at over $1 million. Congratulations, Todd. Great job. Corporal Jason Holloman. While attempting to arrest a wanted felon, Corporal Holloman chased the suspect into a densely wooded area. After deploying his taser with no effect, a violent physical confrontation took place, with the suspect attempting to take Deputy Holloman's gun. Deputy Holloman gained control and brought this violent felon to justice. Great job, Jason. Agent Jesse Holton. While off duty, Agent Holton interrupted a string of vehicle burglaries and chased a suspect who violently confronted him. He relied upon his training and experience and was forced to respond with deadly force to stop the threat. Agent Holton is receiving a second merit bar for his creation and implementation of the therapy dog program, Project Qualter. Great job. Communications Officer Peggy Human. Officer Human received an emergency 911 call from an 8-year-old who said that she was home alone and trying to text her mother. The call came from a cellular telephone that only provided an approximate location within a multiple apartment complex area. Through coordination with CAD and the West Melbourne Police Department, the child, who had been left alone for approximately 5 days, was located safely. Fantastic job, Peggy. Thank you. Sheriff Wayne Ivey. During a foot pursuit, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead to the next page. Sheriff Wayne Ivey was recognized by the Florida Crime Prevention Association with the President's Award for being the driving force behind many innovative crime prevention programs and efforts. This awards committee is recognizing this prestigious honor in his energetic commitment to keep our citizens safe with the bar medic. Congratulations. Deputy Andrew Johnson. During a foot pursuit, Deputy Johnson was confronted by a suspect who had turned and pointed a handgun at him, forcing Deputy Johnson to take immediate cover. Undaunted, he began an investigation that ultimately led to the identification of a subject and his location, where he was later taken into custody without incident. Great job, Andrew. Agent Ethan Kersey. Through diligent work, Agent Kersey culminated a theft investigation with the closure of 23 burglaries that had been unsolved for over a year. Great job, Agent Kersey. Field Training Officer David Colker and Deputy Frankie Mays. These deputies located and safely arrested an armed individual who was intent on harming his girlfriend. Great job, Frankie. Corporal Jason Lewis. The keen observations of Correction Deputy Lewis discovered an inmate who possessed ammunition that had been smuggled into the jail and could have very well led to serious injury. Great job, Corporal Lewis. Agents Brett Lockhart and Mark McDilda. These agents devised a sting operation that led to the arrest of multiple suspects who were using social media to arrange meetings where the victims were robbed at gunpoint. The agents responded to an advertisement and were able to arrest all of the violent suspects, preventing further robberies. Agent McDilda has been recognized with a second merit bar for his efforts in locating and arresting an armed robbery suspect minutes after the robbery occurred. Great job, guys. Thank you. Lieutenant Todd Maddox. Lieutenant Maddox, without regard for his own safety, entered the rough surf in an attempt to rescue a drowning swimmer. Lieutenant Maddox spent approximately 20 minutes diving the area the swimmer was last seen in an effort to find him. Unfortunately, the swimmer did not survive. However, this does not diminish the incredible efforts of Lieutenant Maddox, who placed himself in jeopardy without hesitation in an attempt to save a life. Congratulations, Todd. Deputy Jamie McGowan. Deputy McGowan responded to a call where a juvenile was threatening to commit suicide and located the child clinging to the fence of an I-95 overpass. Deputy McGowan immediately initiated conversation as he slowly closed the distance. Through the conversation, Deputy McGowan calmly convinced the child to come back over the fence and assisted him in helping him climb to safety. Great job. Lieutenant Tim Pemberton. While off duty, Lieutenant Pemberton observed an individual acting suspiciously and then noticed he was armed with what appeared to be a handgun. Lieutenant Pemberton then successfully disarmed a violent, emotionally distraught man who intended to harm himself. Great job, Tim. Corporal Troy Robertson. Corporal Robertson conducted an investigation that uncovered an inmate who was using his girlfriend to introduce contraband into the jail. By remaining alert, he was able to stop the drugs from being introduced into the facility. Great job. Crew Supervisor James Severson. Supervisor Severson observed an inmate violently attack another inmate. Supervisor Severson placed himself in a position to keep the attacker from continuing to harm the victim while maintaining control of the other inmates. Through his actions, he was able to contain the situation and protect the victim from sustaining more serious injuries. Great job, James. Agent Asia Stake. Agent Stake conducted a sexual assault investigation where her efforts identified an alleged victim who had fabricated evidence to falsely accuse two innocent people. Great job, Asia. Deputy Peter Steed. Good job, Mom. That's the best compliment you can get. Deputy Steed responded to an address reference a suicidal man after conversation. And after conversation, the subject briefly exited before attempting to flee back into the residence. Deputy Steed stepped forward, cut the screen of the locked door, and effectively incapacitated the subject. As the subject fell to the floor, a loaded revolver fell from his waistband. The subject was then safely secured. Great job, Peter. Deputy Blake Underhill. Immediately following the shooting of a 12-year-old victim, Deputy Underhill observed the suspect vehicle drive by at a high rate of speed. He followed the car, ultimately challenging the suspect who initially refused his commands. Through his efforts, the incident culminated with the arrest of those responsible. Good job, Blake. IT Manager Bob Urey. Manager Urey has been the driving force in improving the overall technological abilities of our agency. Through his efforts, information technology has improved customer service, wireless communications, and all while leading the implementation of a new report management system and jail management and CAD system. Fantastic, Bob.
Bob, what did I tell you the very first day you came to work for us?
I was fired.
Yeah. That was a bad move on my part, looking back, seeing all the great stuff you did. So just want you to know that.
Thank you.
All right, good job.
Great job, Bob. I tell you, whoever hired that guy was a genius. Sheriff Ivey will now recognize our 2014 Volunteer of the Year, a civilian who has made a significant contribution to our agency by volunteering for the Citizen Observer Program or other volunteer programs within the BCSO.
In June of 2013, our Volunteer of the Year joined the Brevard County Sheriff's Office as a COP volunteer. At that time, he expressed a deep commitment to assist seniors and those suffering from memory loss and at-risk disorders. As a result of his experience, background, and desire to serve, he accepted the role as Project Lifesaver Coordinator. The Project Lifesaver program provides law enforcement and rescue personnel with equipment and training to quickly locate and rescue individuals with cognitive disorders, life-threatening behaviors to include wandering, Alzheimer's disease, autism, and Down syndrome. This year's recipient has embraced the program, volunteering over 1,000 hours while coordinating our agency's efforts, resources, personnel, and contributions to ensure both safety and awareness. It is with great pride that I introduce Project Lifesaver Coordinator Joe Downs as our 2014 Brevard County Sheriff's Office Volunteer of the Year.
Project Lifesaver provides great comfort to families who have loved ones suffering from cognitive disorders, and Joe has done an incredible job. Thank you so much, Joe. Sheriff Ivey will now recognize our Reserve Deputy of the Year. The Reserve Unit is an integral part of our agency's ability to maintain efficiency and effectiveness while supporting not only the needs of the agency, but the community as well, with no additional cost to the taxpayers. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office Reserve Unit is comprised of 73 civilian, auxiliary, and full certified reserve deputies. The members are all volunteers who unselfishly devote thousands of hours each year to assist our agency with its overall mission. Each certified deputy has attended the Law Enforcement Academy at their own expense and all are a major component to our ability to provide so many valued services. Specifically, the unit provided over 17,000 hours in support of patrol, investigation, special event security, traffic control, aviation, agriculture, marine, mounted posse activities, and DUI enforcement. All of the services were provided at no cost to the taxpayer and provided an estimated value to the community of approximately $600,000. We could not be more proud of such an incredible group who are absolutely committed to the safety of Brevard County. The Reserve Unit consists of retired law enforcement and military, doctors, lawyers, dentists, business owners, and other professionals. We greatly appreciate everything they do for our agency and our community. The Sheriff will now introduce the Reserve Deputy of the Year.
This year's Reserve Deputy of the Year volunteered 671 hours of law enforcement service for our agency during 2014. He participated in the single largest annual number of details ever supported by any Reserve Unit member in the history of the Reserve Unit. To fully appreciate the magnitude of our recipient's accomplishment, each Reserve Unit member is asked to participate in 8 special details per year, and the previous record for the largest number of details performed in 1 year by a Reserve Unit member was 26. This year's recipient almost doubled that number. The true value of this recipient's support is not measured solely by his impressive statistical accomplishments. He is known as a cheerful, compassionate, responsive team player who is always a pleasure to work with. I am very proud to introduce you tonight to Deputy Philip Stifler as the 2014 Reserve Deputy of the Year.
Congratulations, Philip. Remember, in 2015, we're shooting for 672 hours, okay? We will now present the Communication Officers of the Month. Will those persons being recognized as Communication Officers of the Month please make their way to the stairs at the left of the stage. Our 911 communication officers are usually the first contact our citizens have in an emergency. They are trained to gather critical information as quickly as possible. They must be able to communicate with strength, clarity, and compassion. They are the voice of help, direction, and relief for those with questions, concerns, and fears. Communications officers are evaluated based upon the manner that they handle emergency situations and the level of compassion and professionalism they demonstrate. We will now recognize our Communication Officers of the Month for 2014. January, Communications Officer Michelle Pace. Officer Pace was able to calm a witness to a burglary and obtain the information needed to guide the responding deputies to the suspect, who was apprehended without further incident. Congratulations, Michelle. February, Assistant Shift Supervisor Lance Jackson. Officer Jackson created a scenario template for the new telecommunicator training program. Using this template, he created several scenarios which were categorized by difficulty level to provide a step-by-step procedure to develop communication skills. Congratulations, Lance. March, Communications Officer Nicole Tarbox. Officer Tarbox answered an emergency 911 call from a witness to a shooting who was following the suspect. During the call, the suspect began shooting at the witness. She was able to remain calm on the telephone, keeping the witness calm, and directing responding deputies to intercept the location and to apprehend the suspect. Great job, Nicole. April, Communications Officer Peggy Human. Officer Human received an emergency 911 call from a cellular telephone that only provided an area, not a specific location. She effectively coordinated information from CAD and the West Melbourne Police Department to locate the caller, an 8-year-old child who had been left alone for approximately 5 days. Great job, Peggy. May, Animal Services Customer Service Specialist Regina Oliver. Officer Oliver, who was able to deter a possible violent outcome to a domestic violence call by remaining calm during her conversation with an intoxicated subject who was threatening to harm his wife. She was able to keep the subject occupied on the telephone while she directed the responding deputies to the subject. Great job, Regina. June, Communications Officer Nicole Barnard. Officer Bernard assisted in coordinating communications on a potential murder while simultaneously addressing a caller threatening suicide. All of this was in addition to coordinating the relay of information from multiple calls between law enforcement agencies in Orange and Brevard counties who were investigating an in-progress domestic dispute. That is the definition of multitasking. Great job, Nicole. July, Shift Supervisor Lori Fetterplace. Officer Fetterplace answered an emergency 911 call where the individual advised they had just shot somebody. Officer Fetterplace was able to build a rapport with the caller, keeping them calm and obtaining the information to keep the responding deputies safe upon arrival. Great job, Lori. August, Communications Officer Monica Mall. Officer Mall coordinated the dispatch and interagency communication and emergency traffic and notification of STAR to assist in the investigation of an armed robbery. Great job, Monica. Communications Officer Lisa Trainin. Officer Trainin coordinated communications between several municipal law enforcement agencies and STAR during a vehicle pursuit that traversed through multiple jurisdictions lasting over 40 minutes. Congratulations, Lisa. October, Communications Officer Nicole Tarbox. Officer Tarbox handled all communications for a traffic stop where the violator attempted to run over the deputy. She seamlessly checked the condition of the deputies, coordinated support with response and countywide dispatch, with South Tower talk groups to facilitate the search efforts with multiple law enforcement units and agencies. Congratulations, Nicole. November and December, Communications Officer Melanie Trimboli. Officer Trimboli is being recognized for her actions in 2 separate months. In November, she coordinated dispatch, emergency traffic, and information sharing between responding deputies that assisted in the successful conclusion of a theft incident where the suspect attempted to run down a responding deputy. In December, she handled a shooting incident with the incredible coordination and professionalism. Congratulations, Melanie. The sheriff will now present the Communications Officer of the Year.
This year's Communication Officer of the Year began their career as an assistant shift supervisor and was promoted to shift supervisor. She also received a commendable service bar and a letter of appreciation from our awards committee for her professionalism while dispatching an emergency 911 call from a subject stating he had been assaulted and had to shoot the suspect. Our recipient utilized her outstanding communication skills and quickly calmed the caller, forming a rapport with him to keep him under control. While keeping the caller calm, she quickly obtained the names of the subjects and detailed circumstances of the event. She was also able to monitor the location of the firearm involved, ensuring the safety of the responding deputies. Additionally, she donates her time and supplies for civic functions throughout the year. She is proudly known as Clown Fetty Rocker, working functions such as Cocoa Beach's annual National Night Out. She appears throughout the year at various not-for-profit events, charities, and local churches. This year's recipient is committed to excellence and possesses a sincere desire to serve our citizens and our entire law enforcement community. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office is proud to recognize tonight Lori Fetterplace as the 2014 Communications Officer of the Year. Come on, baby.
We will now recognize Employees of the Month. Will those persons being recognized as Employees of the Month please come to the stairs to the left of the stage. Our civilians are the lifeblood of the organization, the employees who make our incredible agency so effective and efficient. It's with great appreciation that we share some of their incredible accomplishments and contributions. We begin our recognition of our civilian employees of the month with the January recipient. For January, booking technician James Sexton. Due to his attention to detail, technician Sexton averted the release of an inmate who had additional warrants. He was able to advise the supervisor of the potential release, and the appropriate action was taken, ending a situation that could have led to a wanted person being released back into the community. Great job, James. February, Corrections Technician Christina Anderson. While working in the control room, Technician Anderson observed suspicious activity in the lower cell block. She immediately alerted personnel who responded to the area and located several inmates using the area to conceal their use of contraband. Great job, Christina. March, Corrections Technician Bridget Tomlin. Technician Tomlin observed an incident where an inmate violently assaulted 2 correctional deputies. The deputies were unable to summon assistance, and if it were not for Technician Tomlin's observation and quick response by alerting other deputies to assist, serious injuries may have occurred. Congratulations, Technician Tomlin. Great job. April, lead worker Kurt Kolzinski. I had to pronounce the name over and over. We just call him Ski.
No, I mean, it can't be right.
Oh. Supervising inmate labor crews, lead worker Kolzinski oversaw the building of a boat dock, constructed the targets for the annual Speedy DeWitt firearms competition, and created target racks for and a shelter for the police academy. He is the handyman of handyman, I'm here to tell you. Great job, Kurt. May is Corrections Technician Stephen Banks. During a medical emergency at the jail, Technician Banks played an integral part in coordinating the emergency response of corrections personnel and medical professionals of an injured inmate. Without his quick action, employees would not have been able to render immediate aid. Congratulations, Stephen. June, Senior Staff Assistant Brenda Krieger. During 2014, several civilian positions were vacant at East Precinct. Senior Staff Assistant Krieger took on the additional duties of these positions along with her own, making sure the precinct continued to function effectively. In addition, she volunteered in coordinating training classes that would not have been successful without her efforts. Congratulations, Brenda. June, Analytical Support Specialist Shelley Nettles. Analyst Nettles used her analytical skills searching multiple databases and social media sites to connect a murder suspect to known associates. Her search eventually led agents to an obscure relative of the suspect that lived out of state. Task force members were able to locate the violent suspect and arrest him for murder. Fantastic job, Shelley. August, Logistics Specialist Nancy Baker, Community Relations Liaison Lindsay Deaton, Media Production Engineer Ray Dills, Community Support Specialist Elizabeth Humphreys, Crime Prevention Officer Wanda Mulcahy, Media Production Manager Cheryl Sink, Traffic Programs Coordinator Tanya Tucker, and Media Specialist Katrina Wilson. Each was a part of an integral unit of the Community Services Unit that was selected from the nomination received throughout the state of Florida as the Crime Prevention Unit for the year for 2014. This award recognizes the special efforts and exceptional accomplishments performed by our agency's Crime Prevention Unit. Fantastic job, and congratulations to all of you. September, Public Service Aide Michael Balak and Domestic Violence Advocate Fiona Lindo Charlemagne. Advocate Lindo Charlemagne and PSA Balak assisted a homeless mother and her children with services that are enabling them to get back on their feet. They took the extra time to secure lodging, food, the donation of bicycles, along with making sure that the extended services were available to this family from the available charities in the county. Fantastic job. Great. Thank you. October, IT Manager Bob Urey. Manager Urey has improved technological capabilities, email and wireless internet connection, bolstered customer service from the IT department, and was the leading force in improving the overall technology and advancement of our agency. Great job, Bob. November, lead worker Kurt Kolzinski, Senior Staff Assistant Gene Palmer, and Media Production Manager Cheryl Sink. These employees dedicated many hours to the success of the second annual Jailbreak Adventure Race, which raised over $50,000 for the Children's Advocacy Center and the United Way and BCSO Pet Policy. Fantastic job, guys. Actually, there's a picture of Jailbreak. There's me in my role as the walk-in boss with my dim-witted assistant. So, I'm sorry. Somebody's got, Batman's got Robin, Lone Ranger's got Tonto, I got you.
I got a new corporal.
Moving on. December, Crew Supervisor Michelle Marty, James Severinson, and Vetta Frazier. The actions of these crew supervisors during a violent encounter between two inmates by controlling other inmates effectively contained the situation and minimized the potential for serious injury. Great job, guys. Congratulations. The sheriff will now present the Employee of the Year.
Since joining the agency in October of 2013, this year's recipient has displayed a sincere commitment to customer service, excellence in technical knowledge and advancement, a dedicated work ethic, as well as the leadership skills to manage multiple projects to get the job done. Under our recipient's direction, the Information Technology Unit has been able to accomplish major agency upgrades and complete a host of projects which not only increased efficiency, but also resulted in significant financial savings to our citizens. He has also done an exceptional job in building partnerships between the various law enforcement agencies throughout the county and is currently the chairperson of the Brevard County Information Technology Users Group. One of the most essential and challenging projects facing our agency was to identify, research, and present a solution for our agency to transition from our current report management, jail management, and CAD systems to a new integrated system. While our current system has served our agency for the past 25 years, our current needs have far exceeded the capabilities. A tremendous amount of work was done by many agency members over the past 20 months, taking the steps necessary to make this goal a reality. Once finished, the new system will immediately connect our agency with the majority of local law enforcement agencies in our county, while also creating efficiency and effectiveness. As a result of his sincere commitment to agency customer service, dedicated work ethic, and his ability to successfully manage multiple large-scale projects, I'm proud to introduce Manager Robert Urey as our 2014 Civilian Employee of the Year.
Yeah, Bob, you got to come this way. He's great with computers, but direction is not his strong point. Come on, Bob, keep coming this way. We'll now present the Correction Deputies of the Month. For those persons that will be recognized as Correction Deputies of the Month, will you please come to the stage on the left-hand side? The many men and women charged with inmate population control rarely get the recognition they deserve. It is rewarding on such events as tonight where we can recognize their thankless and dangerous efforts. We commend their contribution to this agency and would like to start by recognizing our Correction Officer of the Month for January. And our Correction Officer of the Month for January is Deputy Deborah Hathcote. Deputy Hathcote observed an inmate who was attempting to escape by concealing himself in a couch. A potential dangerous incident was averted, and the mechanical failure of a cell door was also identified and corrected. Great job, Deborah. We're very proud of you. February, Corrections Deputy Reginald Mitchell. Deputy Mitchell received and followed up on information that thwarted the introduction of morphine into the jail facility. Great job, Reginald. March, Corrections Deputy Patrick Arquette. Deputy Arquette and his canine partner Earl excelled in 2 separate incidents, locating missing endangered persons, one being a child who was found from a track starting from the child's last known location. Great job, Patrick and Earl. April, Corrections Deputy Bridgetta Lyons and Corporal Dahlia Ned Mills. These correctional deputies initiated an investigation that uncovered prescription medication that was being smuggled into the jail, concealed inside inmate body cavities. Sheriff, we don't pay these people enough, I'm afraid. May, Corporal Troy Robertson. While working in the laundry facility, Deputy Robertson observed suspicious activity that led to an investigation that prevented the introduction of contraband into the jail facility. Great job, Troy. June, Corrections Deputies Erwin Krimple, Deshaun Meade, Corporal Richard Atrano, Corrections Deputies Michael Romer, and Christopher Strom. These deputies were informed that an inmate was unresponsive. They immediately began life-saving efforts, continuing to assist medical personnel during the transport to the hospital. Great job, guys. July, Corrections Deputy Christopher Spencer and Corporal Christopher Wood. Corporal Wood and Deputy Spencer were requested to respond with their bloodhounds to assist the Osceola County Sheriff's Office in the search for a suicidal man. Searching the remote area, they were able to locate the man who was turned over to members of the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, where he received assistance for his emotional distress. Great job, Corporal Wood and Deputy Spencer. August, Corrections Deputy Timothy Harris. Deputy Harris located and confiscated a significant amount of contraband hidden on an inmate while he was being processed, thus preventing it from being introduced into the jail facility. Great job, Timothy. September, Corrections Deputy Ronald Collins. Corrections Deputy Collins' attention to detail and investigative skills identified over a dozen inmates wanted on active felony warrants. These identifications prevented potentially dangerous criminals from being released back into the community. Fantastic job. October, Corporal Jason Brim, Corrections Deputy Michael Holt, and Field Training Officer Michael Wyman. Alerted to a potential problem, these deputies entered the cell block, noticing that an inmate had blocked his cell door and covered his window in an attempt to conceal that he had cut himself with a sharp object. These deputies were able to force the door open, disarm the inmate, and stop a potential life-threatening event. Congratulations. November, Corrections Deputy Patrick Arquette. I think he could at least brought his dog. Deputy Arquette and his canine partner assisted in locating a suicidal man who was critically injured. Deputy Arquette assisted with medical treatment, stabilizing his condition until the arrival of medical personnel. Fantastic job, Patrick. December, Corrections Deputy Star Zinmeister. Deputy Zinmeister detected the odor of something burning in the jail facility. Further investigation revealed that one of the industrial dryers was smoldering with a load of towels. While attempting to remove the towels, they burst into flames. Deputy Zinmeister was able to put out the fire before it could spread, where it could have potentially destroyed the entire laundry facility and thousands of dollars in equipment, forcing a partial evacuation of the facility. Great job, Star. The sheriff will now present the Corrections Deputy of the Year.
This year's recipient was called to assist patrol deputies on Kennedy Space Center property to investigate an abandoned vehicle. The family of the vehicle's owner said they had not heard from the individual in several days. Our recipient began tracking off-road where unfortunately he found the victim deceased from a self-inflicted injury. Later in 2014, he was contacted and asked to respond and assist Rockledge police officers with a search for an 84-year-old man who was considered severely depressed. Our recipient and his canine partner tracked through a gated community to a pool bathroom where they located the man. They then discovered that he had critically wounded himself. The officers leapt into action, providing first aid for a very severe self-inflicted knife wound. Without the assistance of Corrections Deputy of the Year and his canine partner, it is very likely that the search for the missing man would have taken significantly longer. The amount of time saved by the quick work of the Bloodhound team undoubtedly contributed to the fact that the man survived this unfortunate incident. As if helping to save an elderly despondent member of our community wasn't enough, later that same day, he was asked to respond to another serious situation. An 11-year-old girl was reported missing. Although there was no last known direction of travel, this deputy and his partner began tracking through the neighborhood, eventually tracking to a location where the Bloodhound circled around and sat next to the missing child. The child was then returned safely to her grateful family. Although our selectee had obviously realized his wish of using his skills to help save lives, fate was not finished with him. During September, this year's winner and his canine partner met with Rockledge police officers who asked that an investigative track be run to link carjacking suspects and the stolen car. Using the scent, not knowing the current location of the suspect, our selectee and his partner began to track. This track took them through Rockledge neighborhoods and eventually over a mile from their starting point. The track led directly to the suspect, where the canine sat at the suspect's feet, indicating a positive indication. This year's winner has been a proud member of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office since January of 2008. His responsibilities as a member of the Brevard County Jail Complex Canine Bloodhound Unit has given him the opportunity to realize his dream to save lives, help his fellow law enforcement officers, and make a difference in his community. Tonight, I'm proud to announce Corrections Deputy Patrick Arquette as our 2014 Corrections Deputy of the Year.
Congratulations to Patrick and all of our Corrections Deputies of the Month. Great job. We will now recognize our Deputies of the Month. Will those persons being recognized as Deputies of the Month please come to the left side of the stage? As you will see from the efforts of these deputies and agents, they are truly extraordinary, and many times they have risked their own lives and the safety to protect persons and property. It is with great pleasure that I start by recognizing January's Deputy of the Month, Lieutenant Tim Pemberton. While attending a Little League baseball game off-duty, Lieutenant Pemberton successfully disarmed a violent, emotionally distraught man who intended to harm himself. And I will tell you, folks, I'm intimately aware of this incident, and I will tell you, somebody yelled gun, Tim jumped into action, and about 100 parents ran in every different direction. But Tim stood strong. We appreciate that. Congratulations, Tim. February, Lieutenant Robert Cullen, Deputies David Downey, Don Eggert, Corporal Connie Hickman, Deputy David Medley, Commander Greg Purdon, Corporal David Schurer, Corporal Al Wells, and Deputy Terry Worthy. The quick reaction of these court deputies and supervisors made sure that all civilian visitors and judicial personnel remained safe from harm, while at the same time securing the facility and monitoring the movements of an emotionally distraught gunman until the arrival of the SWAT team. And I have to tell you, I was there, and folks, that lasted about 2.5 hours until we got SWAT there to contain it, and they did a fantastic job. Congratulations. March, Field Training Officer David Kolker and Deputy Frankie Mays. These deputies identified, controlled, and safely took into custody an armed individual who was intent on harming his girlfriend. Great job, Frankie. April, Deputy David Bowes and Corporal Brian Stoll. These deputies uncovered a drug trafficking operation that led to the arrest of 3 persons for the possession of cocaine and trafficking in ecstasy. Congratulations. May, Deputy Chelsea Holliday. Using her investigative ability and available resources, Deputy Holliday was able to locate a woman who had been missing for over a year and reunited her with her family. Great job, Chelsea. June, Deputy Pat Hebb. Deputy Hebb saved the life of a suicidal male who had hanged himself. Deputy Hebb was unable to remove the tightened knot by hand and carefully cut away the noose from the man's neck. Great job, Deputy Hebb. July, Agent Rick Clements. Agent Clements saved the life of an accident victim by using a roll of trauma gauze to pack the wound and secure a tourniquet on the arm to slow the loss of blood until the arrival of medical personnel. Agent Clements is also recognized by the Melbourne City Council in a resolution for this very incident. Additionally, on Christmas Day, the Sheriff's Office responded to a shooting incident where a man shot at least 9 times into his family's residence as they celebrated the holiday. The suspect threatened to return and further harm his family and any law enforcement officer that may try to stop him. As a member of the Game Over Task Force, Agent Clemens located the subject and challenged him in an effort to detain him. The subject ran into a residence where he picked up a firearm. Agent Clemens directed him to drop the weapon, at which time the subject pointed the handgun in the direction of Agent Clemens, who was forced to respond to the threat of deadly force. Great job, Rick. We're proud of you. August, Deputy Tyler Harrell. Deputy Harrell saved the life of a suicidal man who had cut his arm with a knife by applying a tourniquet and a trauma bandage to the wound, which stabilized the man until the arrival of medical personnel. Great job, Tyler. September, Agent Todd Holland. Agent Holland led a multi-agency investigation into a statewide theft ring that ended up lasting over 18 months and identified 40 suspects who had stolen products valued at over $1 million. Congratulations, Todd. October, Agents Tim Anliker and Laura Leister. These agents conducted an investigation into a money laundering scheme where over $18 million was taken from more than 180 victims. They coordinated travel for many of the victims to speak in front of the judge during the sentencing hearing and are helping to recover the stolen life savings from many of the victims. Great job, Tim and Laura. November, Agent Asia Stake. Agent Stake conducted a sexual assault investigation that, through her efforts, prevented 2 innocent victims who were falsely accused by an alleged victim from being prosecuted for crimes they did not commit. Great job, Agent Stake. December, Agent Jesse Holton. While off duty, Agent Holton interrupted a string of vehicle burglaries in his neighborhood and chased the subject who violently confronted Agent Holton. Agent Holton relied upon his training and experience to respond to the threat with deadly force. Great job, Jesse. The sheriff will now present the Deputy of the Year.
All right, thank you, Greg. It's been such a pleasure to be on stage tonight, shaking hands and hugging our reward recipients as we recognize their amazing accomplishments throughout the year. I couldn't have enjoyed that opportunity without you doing most of the speaking for me tonight, Greg, so I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
Why don't you step out front so everybody can see you? Oh, did I? Sorry about that. Greg Purdon, please. It's now time for our final award of the evening, our Deputy of the Year. In July, this year's recipient observed a vehicle crash that appeared to have serious injuries. As our recipient made his way through the wreckage, he observed an elderly male victim slumped over. As he climbed in and evaluated the injuries, he observed the victim's arm was partially amputated, which was resulting in significant loss of blood. Our recipient used a roll of trauma gauze to pack and cover the wound and then applied a tourniquet to the upper arm of the victim to slow the blood loss. When fire rescue personnel arrived, they found our recipient calmly speaking with the victim to prevent shock. They additionally discovered the tourniquet was applied to the critical wound so perfectly that they decided to leave it in place. The trauma physician at the hospital credited the expert application and efforts while saving the victim's life, and without it, the victim would have surely bled to death at the scene. They say that timing is everything, and in this particular incident, our Deputy of the Year had received first aid training to include the use and assignment of a tourniquet for critical injury response just days prior to that incident. In a separate incident that occurred on Christmas Day, deputies responded to a shooting where a man had become involved in an argument with his family and shot at least 9 times into the residence, to include near a 2-year-old as they celebrated their holiday. Deputies made telephone contact with the suspect, who was very emotional, threatened to return and harm his family, and advised that he would harm any officers who might try to stop him. A warrant was obtained for the suspect, and the Game Over Task Force was contacted to locate and arrest the suspect before anyone else could be injured. Your Deputy of the Year was the first to respond to a location where the suspect was believed to be hiding. As this year's recipient established a perimeter while the other members of his elite team responded, he observed the suspect outside an apartment wearing clothing that could not possibly conceal a firearm. Your recipient moved in a position to challenge the individual before he could arm himself. Unfortunately, the suspect took flight, entered the apartment with your recipient chasing closely behind, and armed himself with a handgun. He ordered the suspect to drop the weapon. The suspect then pointed the gun towards his head, and as the deputy tried to talk him into dropping the firearm, he lowered the weapon and manipulated the weapon to load it, pointing it in the direction of our deputy. Your recipient was forced to respond to the armed threat with deadly force. It is my pleasure at this time to recognize this exceptional deputy sheriff by presenting him with the Medal of Valor and introducing Agent Rick Clemens as your 2014 Deputy of the Year. All right, as I said at the beginning of tonight's event, our agency and its members do amazing things every day to make Brevard County such a safe place to call home. Few people have the honor of calling themselves member of law enforcement organizations, and even fewer recognize why we love doing it so much. Tonight, however, clearly defines why we are so proud to serve in this profession, and even prouder to serve as members of what I believe is one of the most respected agencies in the country, the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. Before we leave the auditorium tonight, I would like to extend a special thanks to Pastor Mark Ragsdale and all the wonderful staff here at the church at Viera, Pastor Larry Linkus for our invocation, Chaplain Roger Alexander for our benediction, our honor guard for our wonderful flag ceremony, and our daughter Jana for singing her incredible song, our national anthem. I would also like to thank my good friend, Eastern Florida State College President Jim Ritchie, and the WESF TV team led by John Bober for filming tonight and all the work they do in posting our production. Major Todd Goodyear and Katrina Wilson for their efforts to prepare tonight's presentation. Representative Al Betcher of our Coastal Florida PBA, who is here tonight to support our agency. Manager Ron Spangler and his teams who worked so hard to engrave the plaques. Publix of Viera, who catered tonight's event. Our crime scene unit for taking the pictures of the ceremony. The awards committee for their time, consideration, and dedication in making sure our employees are recognized, and all of the family and friends who have joined us tonight. Finally, I would like to thank our citizens for their continued support and the nearly 1,500 members of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office for their service, commitment, devotion, and professionalism to make Brevard County Sheriff's Office what I believe is truly an agency for others to try and emulate. We have a great agency, and I couldn't be more proud to get to serve as the sheriff of this agency. I tell everyone every day, I am surrounded by almost 1,500 incredible employees and volunteers. I'm smart enough to stay out of their way and get to see them do the great work like they do tonight. They do amazing things. So please, for all of our members, give them a round of applause.
Please bow your head and join me in prayer. Almighty Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening to witness the exceptional works and accomplishments of those award winners that we've recognized here this evening, Lord. And Lord, we just ask you to continue to put your hand of protection and blessing upon all law enforcement as we go forward from this place this evening. And Lord, as we leave here, we just ask you to guide them and direct them with your grace and your wisdom and your mercy. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you for coming, everybody. We'll be taking photos out in the lobby. As always, thank you for your support. God bless and have a great night.